Hey everyone, what's up? So I thought we'd talk about this. It's so funny, I was just criticizing Tank for this, was I not? You know, can I at least get a Lomachenko? And it looks like they are working on something. Bob Arum has said that, you know, it should happen or it will happen. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? I don't get my hopes up these days. Me, I've been telling people basically the same song and dance for years. You know what I'm saying? That same song and dance may change from fighter, you know, may change between different fighters, but it's always the same story. My motto is, you know, it's the handlers that always expose to you just how much confidence they do have in their fighter. You understand? When I see a guy's record like drawn in his boots, you got a lot of fights, but you haven't really fought anyone that could punch, unless you're counting a guy like Limpinets, who we know moved down from lower weight classes, also was the smallest welterweight at the time. I believe he still is. You know what I'm saying? But when I see consistently that they have your fighter avoid punchers, and they have your fighter avoid certain types of fighters and things like that, that's one of the tell signs that I can pick up. Like, they don't have much confidence in that guy. You know what I'm saying? Another thing too is, Tank, you throw him a name like Shakur Stevenson, we see him freak out. You know what I'm saying? When I see that type of stuff as well, very comfortable where you're at, things like that. You're not even trying to chase greatness. You know, you're what I call, what is a milk cow. Now, they may prop you up, they may throw you some belts, you understand, whatever else, but everything's been watered down today. And like I said in my past video, you know, I went through my stage of puppy love with guys like Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. You know, Mike Tyson got his own video game made. Roy Jones, again, this is a guy that had highly exceptional ability. And I know what fans this day say about Roy Jones. You guys don't know nothing about no Roy Jones. He did have boxing IQ, things like that. He had a wonderful jab. He did get away from that stuff. And, you know, he kind of tended towards the showboating, things like, but this is something that we see a fighter like Lomachenko do as well. You know, muscle memory, everything else, you know, it's not matching with the age and whatever else. You know, Roy was trying to do too much. You know, he's over here moving up to heavyweight and then moving back down. You can call it excuses, whatever. I don't really care at this point. But again, these guys far surpass the hype jobs that they sell you today. For those of you who want to say a guy like Tyson and Roy Jones are hype jobs. These guys today, I mean, it's hard pressed for me to really rate them as C+ fighters. You understand? And these people, they'll go unbattle tested. You know, they won't even get battle tested till they're well deep into their career. You know what I'm saying? A guy like Deontay Wilder, again, he was a bronze medalist, you know, but they really took no chances with a guy like that, you know? And I always state this, it stunts your growth. Now, I've called out Lomachenko in the past too, when I did my prediction on Teofimo Lopez versus Lomachenko. Again, if you guys can get past all the stuff that'll make you feel moist, you'll see that I was pretty accurate with that prediction as well. I pay attention to the fighters. You understand? I don't play proxy race war on here, although I do have my prejudices and biases. You understand? But I don't play this little internet proxy race war like a lot of these channels do. You understand? I'm gonna rip your fighter a new one, regardless of the color. If you guys haven't figured that out yet, you know, I pay attention to the fighter. I observe the fighter. You know, I don't sit here and just make up, you know, this guy's a superhero, he can do no wrong. You understand? I'm going to really look at this stuff. I'm going to analyze your fighter. You know, to me, it's very basic. It's easy. The video's right there, but a lot of you guys will be looking through love eyes or drunk eyes. Now, I went through this whole escapade with, you know, the Aerospins fans, whoever else. You know, and I've been called racist by all different people, whether they were white boxing fight fans or black boxing fight fans. But I'm trying to tell you, I'm always consistent on this stuff. You won't see me change much in what I present to you. Now, I'm going to also tell you some details I don't think other people will pick up on. That's me patting me on my back, I guess, a little bit, but it's the truth. I know I bring stuff to the table that a lot of people don't pick up on. But regardless, you need to understand, Gervonta Tank Davis, it looks like he has IQ and things like that. You got to keep into account the type of competition that he has fought up to this point. Another telltale sign is when they fight these people. I'm not a believer in coincidence. You understand? It's when they want to go at these people. That'll always give you an indication on how confident they are, in their fighter as well, by the way. But regardless, Tank is a guy, he gets to fight at his own leisure. You understand? Now, there have been a few scares there in his career. Isaac Cruz was one of them. They had to use the patented, and Caleb Plant and so many of these fighters when they have bad performances. It's like, I don't know, it's like a lifeline. They're like instructed, we'll just say that you broke your head. You know what I'm saying? When it came to Caleb Plant against Caleb Truax, Caleb Plant has a bad gas tank. He's going to get tired. You understand? He got tired during his work, the media workout. Not too many people picked up on that. He literally got tired during the media workout, man, for the Canelo fight. And I was like, yep, there you go. But this guy, he started getting tired in the Caleb Truax fight. Caleb Truax started landing some big bombs on him and things like that. You know what I'm saying? And I knew this dude wasn't ready for a Canelo. But, there's a reason why Canelo wanted to fight him, You got to give credit where credit is due. These guys are able to pick up low-hanging fruit, even when it appears to be ripe and whatever else. The guy wasn't battle-tested. Who has Caleb Plant fought, All these guys, they do the same thing. And what's his name? Tank's team, they've modeled themselves after Canelo a lot. I did just say Canelo there. I think that is what I'm going to start calling your guys' fighter, Canelo. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, after I denigrated, let me get back to my point. You get to be in a ring against fighters, again, where you get to fight at your own leisure. You get to not really have that much output. You are allowed to give up rounds. We've seen guys like Wilder, Canelo, and of course Tank be allowed to do this, given the opposition that they choose. And I always have to question, are these people laying down when I watch some of these fights? I know that's going to hurt people's feelings, but I could back this stuff up with video clips. For example, what was my dude's name? He just got that assault. I already forgot his name, but he landed a punch on Canelo, then he stopped mid-fight, Kovalev, and then asked Canelo, was he all right? I can put that clip here on this video if I want. I'm not making this stuff up. You understand? When I see questionable things like that, and again, I get to see guys fight at their own leisure, they get to pick and choose when they want to pick up the pace or whatnot. Tank, we get to see this in a lot of his fights. Now, there have been some guys who pushed him a little bit, like I said, and he's had some scares like the Isaac Cruz fight. Again, if you beat him and it was clear, why was there ever a talk of rematch? You know what I'm saying? But against a Lomachenko, you're not going to be able to fight at your own leisure, unfortunately. Say what you want about Lomachenko. He does have a high boxing ring IQ. His approach, and again, you can go watch my prediction on the Teofimo Lopez. I broke Lomachenko down to a T in that video. But for some reason, he likes to wait, and even against guys that are far younger than him. You know what I'm saying? He tries to drown him in the later rounds. And it's like, this is part of the reason why you've lost to some of these guys, even a Salido. And you'll see these tendencies and patterns with Lomachenko. But a guy with Tank, who doesn't have that much output, you know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure if he does have to, just like a Canelo, if you raise the output level and raise the activity on Canelo, he does get tired more quickly. And I think it's the same thing with Tank Davis. With a Lomachenko, it's not so much the physical activity. You're going to be worked on your physical and your mental. You understand? You're going to be thinking a lot. And that in itself is going to drain you a little bit. Your mind's going to have to start picking up on all this stuff. What's this guy doing? And Tank, I haven't seen where he's really had to use high boxing IQ. Like I said, He seems to be a very solid fighter, but at the same token, I've never really seen you adapt. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of, like I said, fight at your own leisure. You're patient. It makes people who haven't watched boxing that long think that you have a high IQ and things like that. But we're talking about guys like Frank Martin, you know, where you're showcasing that type of maturity and things like that, as opposed to when we see Devin Haney, you know, having to show maturity versus far better competition. You understand? Like Regis Prograis and, you know, Lomachenko. There's a reason why your team never wanted you to fight Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? Your team's not confident in you, and I don't think you're truly that confident. Again, this might be a situation where your confidence is a little bit more lifted because you think you're getting an old Lomachenko. He's at the end of his career. And this is what I've talked about in my last video, the infamous cherry pick gone wrong. How this can, when we've seen with a lot of PBC fighters, this has spelled disaster, you know, for some of these guys, you know? What's his name? Keith Thurman thought he was cherry picking an old Manny Pacquiao at the right time. You know what I'm saying? And he was so confident to the point where, you know, he was on a long layoff himself. Manny Pacquiao was actually far more active than him, you know, and Manny proved everybody wrong as far as the PBC side. You know what I'm saying? But again, we've seen the Wilder Tyson Fury. They thought they were cherry picking this guy. That was the only reason why they got in the ring with him to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Errol Spence, he ducked for years. I don't care what you guys said. I've done many videos on this. You know, and it got to the point where, you know, you come to a point where you have to start making money. Your brand's not really doing nothing. This occurred for, you know, Bob Arum and Manny Pacquiao. You understand why they eventually did have to fight Floyd Mayweather. You weren't as hot as you were anymore. You know what I'm saying? You weren't selling as much pay-per-view as you were, you know, and greed got the best of them. And I think that's the only reason why Spence did go ahead and finally fight Terrence Crawford. Because again, who are you going to do? You're going to fight Keith Thurman for 1.5 stipend? You know what I'm saying? You're going to go, who are you going to fight next? You know? So you couldn't duck anymore. All your options were left, and plus you weren't really making money anymore. As Terrence Crawford said, your Danny Garcia and Ugas fights weren't as hot as the news medias and everybody were saying that it was. You know, they're saying that you sold 250 million or 250,000 pay-per-view buys, but that just was not the case. There were some people here that had access to the real numbers. You weren't selling close to that. And this is what I'm saying, you're a fake A-side. I don't have to get into all that again, you know. It is what it is. But again, with Lomachenko, you're not going to be allowed to fight at your own leisure. You're not going to get to, you know, just let him. If you let Lomachenko throw his combinations and things against you, the judges are obviously going to give him those rounds. Frank Martin was up on the landed punches on you the first 7 or 8 rounds. You know, Lomachenko, it's going to be a whole different ball game. Lomachenko knows how to go to the body and the head. He knows how to seize openings, things like that. Plus, he's a very active guy. It's not only the physical with the Lomachenko, but it's also going to be the mental. And who has Tank fought that's even close to a Lomachenko? You know what I'm saying? Lomachenko also has athletic ability. You've been fighting guys like Leo Santa Cruz, guys who literally are just walking punching bags that throw punches. You understand? Frank Martin, you know, we've seen he's already received a gift and things like that. His boxing acumen and IQ isn't all that either. Again, they may finally see that it's time to fight a Lomachenko. It's the right time. You know, it's an opportunistic moment to fight Lomachenko. But again, this can easily spell doom for Tank. You understand? I'm going to check out the odds. I think it'd be a very good chance to win some money if Lomachenko is the underdog in this fight. The only way I see Lomachenko losing this fight, really, there's 2 ways. He's going to have to get hit with a, you know, a one-punch KO type deal. Is it possible? Is it probable? Yes, it can happen. You know what I'm saying? Lomachenko also, you know, he tends to struggle with guys that are bigger than him. In this scenario, I don't think Tank is bigger than him. He actually does very well against smaller guys. I think Tank is like 5'6", Lomachenko is like 5'8". Now the reach, again, I'd have to look this stuff up. This is just me going by the gut. I don't know what the reach is, but I'm assuming Tank might have the same, if not maybe possibly the longer reach, but I'm not sure. You know, Tank's got a big head too, you know. Again, we can't tell if his chin's really been tested. I know Frank Martin buzzed him a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So Lomachenko, if he goes to Tank's body, I think he'll do a lot of good damage on Tank, especially get him to defend down low, and then he can start masking it by going back up top. Because again, I don't think Tank is that smart. I think you kind of give him too much credit again, you know, where it's been unearned. You know what I'm saying? You guys already crowned Tank as a face of boxing, all this other nonsense. And Tank, you know, this is another guy outside the ring that does a lot of dumb stuff. And just like an Errol Spence, I would literally have Spence fans telling me he's just living his life and all this. Okay, you know what I'm saying? You think this type of stuff is going to assist him in a true fight? Okay, it's worked for guys like Danny Garcia, you know, and Sean Porter. You know, although Sean Porter busted him up, had that head all swollen, you know what I'm saying? But again, when you step up in the competition, you know, you think that's going to be the case against a guy like Terrence Crawford? And again, in this fight, you're going to have all your P's and Q's. Again, this is going to be the toughest fight of your career. And I think you've been in the kiddie pool too long. I've talked about this. How they have guys in the simulation, they don't really let them go out into the ocean and really learn how to swim, you know, when it counts. They're used to simulation all the time. And this is just one of those scenarios where I think it's a highly good chance that Lomachenko beats Gervonta Tank Davis. I just don't think Tank is what you guys think he is. I've said this about Spence. I said this, you know, when Crawford was fighting the Sean Porters. That was supposed to be the best competition he ever fought. Kell Brook, you guys all said the same thing, you know? And I typically get labeled as a hater, but I know oftentimes that I know your favorite fighter that you're deriding better than you do. And oftentimes this is the case, and you guys just don't acknowledge the negatives about your fighter. Those are the things I pay attention to the most. I don't necessarily care what a fighter does good, you know? I don't think Tank's style, especially the low output and all that, and I don't think you're Floyd Mayweather, you know what I'm saying? Where you can really hold your opponent to low output and defensively be successful. I just don't think Tank is what you guys say he is, guys. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. It's the way he moves. It's the way he shook for certain guys. Why are you so shook on Shakur Stevenson? Why are you getting so mad at an interviewer when they just asked you about Shakur Stevenson? What's wrong about that? You fought plenty of no-name bums that we don't even know who they are. So why not fight a guy like Shakur, somebody who has somewhat of a name, you know? Or Devin Haney, again, a guy that does have some pretty good support. I just don't understand. It was the same with Errol Spence. Why are you fighting Ugas? Isn't this about money? Isn't that what this is all about, according to you guys? And then here you are, you offer these guys their highest payday, best legacy fight. They're shook. And majority of them will duck this crap. And we've seen this with all of them. I just don't understand this stuff. It's confusion to me. You understand? It really doesn't make sense to me, but it's very consistent with PBC type associated fighters for whatever reason. But yeah, you can't fight Lomachenko at your own leisure. That's not going to work. You already lose a bunch of rounds. You already give up a bunch of rounds. You know, I did say one of the ways I could see Lomachenko losing is, again, it'd have to be a one-punch KO. You understand? Second way is that they do rob Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? We've seen some crazy stuff with PBC fighters, with Rolly, even with Frank Martin, you know. They do know how to pull some politics strings over at PBC and these guys that are associated with Al. I've seen some crazy things. But those are the only two ways I can see Tank winning. He's not going to put rounds together. I can tell you that right now. Both Lomachenko starts slow. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he'll give up some rounds to Tank. You know, but as the fight gets going and gets cooking, you understand? I just see Lomachenko, you know, building up that momentum. And again, he's going to be attacking Tank's body. I hope his team is smart enough to go get Tank's body. You know what I'm saying? Don't even worry too much about the head at first. Go to that body first. Soften him up downstairs. He's going to get tired. You understand? Then, what's funny, what happens when you don't have a good gas tank, you know what I'm saying? A man who's tired will accept death. You know what I'm saying? It's the weirdest thing. You know, I remember back in the day when some kids were chasing me. And I was back in grade school, and of course they wanted to jump me and beat me up. And I was a big kid. I'm like 6'4", you know what I'm saying? I played football, you know, defensive end. So, you know, I ran, but I eventually got tired. So then I finally accepted what was coming to me. And when people get tired, you get to the point where you don't really care. I can clearly see Tank not being able to handle the pace mentally or physically. Again, early rounds, he may nab some rounds because Lomachenko himself starts slow, and this has been his Achilles heel. But against the Tank, again, Lomachenko just steps on that gas a little bit. You know what I'm saying? If I were Lomachenko, I'd definitely make sure I secure the first 3 rounds. You don't need to worry about really downloading against a guy like Tank. You know, he's patient himself. He's not going to really do too much output. You know, and of course, we know by the end of the fight, he wants to land basically for the most part a one-punch KO. He doesn't really put his shots together in combinations, you know, and he doesn't, I don't really see him wear guys down. But Lomachenko, again, put the pressure on him at first, get him a little frazzled, you know, maybe take off the gas in the middle rounds a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Let him think that he's still in the fight. And then in the championship rounds, just go at it on this dude. And I'm telling you, he'll fold, and he has a good chance to maybe stop Tank, especially if he goes to the body, puts money in the bank early on. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think Tank Davis is what you guys say he is. He was brought up in an effeminate system. He was brought up in the kiddie pool. You know what I'm saying? They did some selective, careful matchmaking with Lomachenko as well. But he has fought more, you know, solid competition than Tank Davis. Again, he wasn't here feasting on dudes that were, you know, basically there to be sacrificed to him or showcase fights. You know, he did step up in competition. You know, he did fight even young kids, you know, that a guy like Tank isn't even too interested in fighting. I really think Lomachenko has a very good chance of beating Tank Davis and, of course, exposing him. You guys, you always put these guys and claim they're pound-for-pound fighters and they're just so skilled, everything else. I never see these type of things that you guys talk about. I don't. I really don't. I hope this fight does get made, you know. I'm going to deal with some diehard Tank fans who, you know, Al Heyman fans, whatever you guys are, whatever the newest flavor of the month is for you guys. You know, you guys, you'll jump ship and jump off and then latch onto a new guy. I've seen this with all manner of fight fans. You understand? You all do the same thing. This is why I don't do proxy race war on boxing, especially in today's times. You all got a race card today. You all play victim today. You know what I'm saying? I try to stay out of that. You know what I'm saying? But if you want a more full breakdown on Lomachenko, I already did the prediction video on him versus Teofimo Lopez. I don't think you'll find a more accurate prediction on YouTube than what I predicted and broke down in that prediction video. You know what I'm saying? As far as Tank, again, you're not going to be able to fight at your own leisure how you normally are used to. You know, kind of like a Canelo, by the end of the fight, you try to land like a one-punch KO. I don't think he'll be able to do that. I think the pace will be too much for him, even with the Lomachenko who likes to, you know, not start all that fast. You know, in this fight, I think he should really put more effort into pace early on. And if you do want to take some stuff off, download a little bit, you know what I'm saying? I would do that in the middle rounds against a guy like Tank. And then again, typically Lomachenko likes to, you know, take him into deep waters and drown him. It's not worked against the younger fighters like Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez. You're trying to do this against kids with high testosterone. Tank, again, this is a guy, I don't think he's that disciplined. I know he does foolish things outside the ring, you know. This isn't a tailor-made fight for him. This is not a fight where they can ensure that they're going to get victory. Again, he's going to have to land a one-shot KO punch on Lomachenko, or they're going to have to rob Lomachenko on the cards. That's the only way I see Tank winning this fight. Again, I'm going to have to look at the odds, and if I like what I see, I maybe will put some money on Lomachenko, especially if he is the underdog. We'll see how people feel, though. You know, they'll say one thing on the internet, but when it comes to money, you know what I'm saying? That will tell you how people truly feel when they go for certain fighters. That's just my early thoughts on this. I know I denigrated. I am driving on the highway, so I had time to BS with you guys. We'll keep updated on this, and we'll see if this is a reality, but this is what Tank Davis needs. You can't be babying and coddling and stunning this dude's growth anymore. You're not, you know what I'm saying? Guys like Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez have lapped Tank Davis. I don't care what you guys say. They've done far more legacy-wise, even in their failures, than what a Tank Davis has done in his little protected baby career. Mark me on those words. We'll talk to you guys later. I'm sure I'll get a few of you will not like this video too much, but, you know, it comes with the territory, you know. And again, as I said early on when I used to do this boxing talk, hold me to my word, and let's see who's more accurate, me or you. Okay? Talk to you guys later. Bye.